What is going on, everybody? 'Tis I, the enigma of the gun airwaves, Miyanovich, welcoming you to Season 3 of the Liberal Gun Owners Lens podcast, where unprecedented perspectives are packed into the cargo hold for the LGO Lens spaceship Voyagio.
That's fucking Italian.
Don't believe that evolution is possible with guns and public safety in America? It's already happening, y'all. Minds are evolving. Think guns versus public safety is the only game in town, do ya? Think culture war is the big boss, do ya? Then keep your ass in the past. Everyone else, all aboard! The concept of anthropologic requirement, generally speaking, none of that has to do with what's happening with marginalized people, what's happening with female reproductive rights, what's happening with solar panels, what's happening with the Amazon, what's happening with CO2. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It does also have something to do with all of those things, because all of the issues that are aligned with the suite of progressive concepts that we are worried about, those are also connected, right? Anyone can say to me right now, well, yeah, Randy, if you're black, it's harder to get your groceries in the fridge. Yes, that's true. For a black person, being black and those issues are absolutely a part of anthropologic requirement. But we don't live in a society filled with just black people or just women or just gay people. And we're never going to live in a society like that. So there is a universal aspect that's beneath skin color, gender, sex. There's a universal element underneath all of this. And that is part of the anthropologic requirement. I can find a scenario where I can make women have to choose between get food into the fridge today, worry about reproductive rights later. There is a reality that's like that, because the anthropologic requirement, which is going to have to do with resources, relationship with your neighbors and your community, being able to continually gain resources, have all of the, I will use the term infrastructure that you need, structure that you need to your basic life. There are requirements for that are colorless, genderless, and the anthropologic requirement is inside of every single society that exists. So what happens when you have a political party or a political culture or an activist culture that wants to just take the anthropologic requirement as a given, that you don't have to think about it, that something else should provide it for you eventually? Or your dream society is just supposed to provide your anthropologic requirement for you, which is an entire other mess, that concept. Right now, there is no such thing. And there won't be such a thing for 50, 100, 200 years, if it can even happen at all. So the anthropologic requirement is for Homo sapiens, all of us, to be able to meet those basic resource needs on a daily basis or every 2 weeks, a paycheck to paycheck basis. You cannot fucking ignore the anthropologic requirement and pretend like it doesn't matter and put all of your eggs into the progressive elements. The anthropologic requirement is the foundation of humans on Earth in society. And we don't hardly ever deal with that in realistic terms on the left. We're concerned with helping people to meet their anthropologic requirement through government programs, subsidization, or destroying capitalism, or whatever. But those aren't actually realistic terms fully. The most realistic road for anthropologic requirement is a human being having a source of income and a job and a thing that they do that gets the groceries into the fridge. We don't have socialism. We don't have democratic socialism. We don't have utopia. And many people are going to choose to think about that, because that's classically what humans think about. Deep down, subconsciously, that's their concern. The anthropologic requirement. Our culture is ignoring the anthropologic requirement. And the Republicans are, at least through voodoo and the Magic Act and smoke and mirrors, are saying consistently that they care about that in their way. They believe in generating a strong economy in their way, and they believe that benefits people for the anthropologic requirement. They at least have some kind of a fucking message about that. The anthropologic requirement is baseline for Homo sapiens, whether you can acknowledge it or not. Many people on the left who are highly activisty type people, they don't think about that, because a lot of them are middle class or above and frankly fucking spoiled. They live in an egg. They live in a place where maybe somebody else or something else is taking care of their anthropologic requirement for them. They've never had to think about it, but that's a problem. How much of a problem is it? We just lost an election because of it. You can't ignore the anthropologic requirement. And we lost votes to people, and will lose votes to people in the future who are going to refuse to relate to the anthropologic requirement and economics through anything other than the classic terms. The left is trying to define the economic reality through subsidy, through utopian concepts, socialist and democratic socialist utopian concepts like guaranteed income, all shit that's pie in the sky right now. I think some of those ideas are very cool, but in terms of their viability, it's questionable. You're not going to see those things in the next 50 to 100 years, and you still need to fucking win elections. And one of the reasons why we're losing votes and losing people, and will continue to lose votes and lose people, is because of, one, the Democratic Party and the American left doesn't really have strong messages related to the anthropologic requirement. The viable, true messages related to the anthropologic requirement right now have to do with classical elements. And those elements are defined for the middle class everyday person as go to a job, get paid, and you get paid well. Go to a job, get paid, and you get paid enough. It's not anything else. It's not government subsidy. It's not government programs. It's not democratic socialism. People are not going to relate to the anthropologic requirement through these terms. The people that are critical for us to win elections in the center, these people are not going to redefine their reality and their relationship to the anthropologic requirement through anything else. The idea that you're just going to force these concepts onto people and basically do a gatekeeping move, a left-wing gatekeeping move, where the people who don't believe in guaranteed income and high subsidization and democratic socialism, again, are morally or intellectually inferior, and so fuck them. Capitalism is the game right now. Capitalism is the game right now. Classical economic elements are the game right now. And those are the ways that people are going to relate to the anthropologic requirement. And just because they're not hip to ideas like guaranteed income or don't believe in them because they haven't landed or they're pie in the sky, that doesn't make those people inferior people. It also doesn't make those people conservatives or Republicans. A lot of those people are independents. A lot of those people are libertarians. A lot of those people are center to left now. People are getting fucking sick of everything I've discussed. The Democratic Party needs to have a message related to the anthropologic requirement that's strong. We can still play with ideas, the ideas of the far left a little bit. There are some good ideas in there. You have to have a message that speaks to the classical elements of economics and the anthropologic requirement. You have to have a message that speaks to everyday people about their income and their jobs. You have to address the economic reality strongly, and you have to address the progressive edge. And you cannot allow a cancerous force inside of your own group who wants to demonize people who want to think about both economics and progressive concepts. You have to pay attention to it and pay attention to the elements of progress that we need. But you also can't just take the anthropologic requirement and make it a function of idealized democratic socialism and the government taking care of everybody in that regard. Because that's not here. We don't live there yet. If ever, we may never live there. Guaranteed income, guaranteed resources for everyone. We don't live there yet. It's not real. So the anthropologic requirement is a part of the Group B considerations in the village. You cannot just look at the Group A considerations and make those the sum total of what is needed in the world. It's bullshit. And you will fucking lose elections like that. You will lose critical must-win elections over that kind of detachment from what fucking counts. All of the other things count too. And, economics can be all a matter of perception. The anthropologic requirement could be a matter of perception. Things could be going generally well in the economy, and people can still think because things at the gas station or in the grocery store are more expensive and inflation is up, that the sky is falling. And politically, it doesn't matter. That anthropologic requirement and being able to deliver on it, at least deliver a message on it, is extraordinarily important. And our culture works against it. And it works against it through toxicity and Jungian emasculation. What you're seeing on that map is a pushback from that emasculation. And it's also happening on our side too, because the toxicity has gotten too great. We cannot focus on highly progressive elements and completely ignore classical elements. There will be an argument about human rights and whether those rights are central to life, whether those rights are considered in the anthropologic requirement. But I think you should be able to see from human behavior that human rights are very tricky in this regard, because basically acquiring resources classically for humans may or may not involve treating everyone equally. Oftentimes it does not involve treating everyone equally. And this is a problem, but it is still a part of how humans deal with an anthropologic requirement. I assure you that if you have a black person that lives in Detroit and they have very little money and very little resource, when they wake up every day, the last thing that they're going to do is take necessary money and necessary time and go and devote it to highly active and labor or time intensive black causes. They're not going to. They're going to do what everyone else does. They're going to go and take care of the anthropologic requirement. Everyone does that. Straight people do it. Gay people do it. Transgender people do it. Men do it. Women do it. The consideration of rights, the consideration of the environment, these things are going to be secondary to the anthropologic requirement. And while everyone or most people on the left believe that their fight for whatever is happening in terms of progressive concepts is a part of the anthropologic requirement, I would disagree. I think it's partially, but not really. In the end, if people need to get resources and they need a stronger economic situation, they're going to not really worry about the things on the periphery, and they're going to go after that requirement. And that requirement has a politics involved in it, and it is essential to humans. You simply cannot ignore it or pretend like it doesn't matter or think that the world or the government is just supposed to deliver it to you, to take it for granted. And that general stream, that general desire that essentially has nothing to do with progress or gender or race or sex, it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the now. It has to do with today. It has to do with getting it. That's all it's interested in. This is an anthropologic throughput. It is in every situation that we're in. It's in every society that we generate. You can have an idealized democratic socialist state and you're still going to have it. You cannot demonize anthropologic throughput. You cannot demonize the anthropologic requirement. You cannot demonize the classical elements of society. You cannot demonize the status quo. You cannot demonize people that are concerned about that over female reproductive rights. Because many people, if you just look at their behavior, even the people that believe in female reproductive rights, they're prioritizing the anthropologic requirement over female reproductive rights. Even people that believe they're not doing it, they're fucking doing it. It's not about choosing one over the other. It's about being allowed to care about both. And in a toxic political and a toxic cultural environment like we have, this is what's happening. You're not allowed. This election was winnable. You need strong leaders. You need a party that really knows how to handle both female reproductive rights and the economy, both national security issues and the environment. Both matter. Group A in the village matters. Group B in the village matters. And we have a highly toxic, highly domesticated cultural force that's a cancer, that's essentially using social justice as their justification for cutting the nuts off of people. And that's figurative nuts, for Jungian emasculation. And that Jungian emasculation isn't a positive force. In the end, it doesn't help female reproductive rights or issues of female empowerment, because it's a fucking cancer. It's a regime of disempowerment masking itself as a regime of empowerment. And in the end, it's fucking over the people who actually really do care about female reproductive rights and marginalized people and the environment and the future and economics. It's working against the core of liberalism for sure. for sure. It's working against the solid road to the best future. And we just fucking lost an election because of it. So you see this wave that happened with Trump? Well, that wave is also happening on the left too. It's just quieter. And I'm here to fucking tell everybody that it's coming and there's nothing you can do about it. Everyone that's in this toxic culture of highly domesticated horseshit, it has a comeuppance coming. And I've been seeing it for years. I just haven't said anything. There are reasons for that. But just like you couldn't stop Trump from winning because of this, what's about to happen on the left, you also can't fucking stop. And unfortunately, what it's going to look like, because it's going to be mostly men who are doing this, it's going to look like men are rising up against female empowerment. And frankly, that is also happening. You're right about that. I saw a woman on the internet, who's a black woman, who said, you know, Kamala Harris not getting the votes from black men is about black men not being okay with black women being in power. She's right about that. There are men on the right and the left who don't want women in power. That's true. That's true. But that's not the main reason why this wave is happening. It's happening because of this Jungian emasculation, right? It's going to look like men are rising up against female empowerment. But what it is really happening is that men are working against Jungian emasculation. And whether or not women and non-binary people can recognize that that's also the soup that they're in, I don't know. I know some women are hip enough. I know a few women that are hip enough to see it, but men are definitely recognizing it. And men on the left are recognizing it. This kind of suppression. It's not just suppressing men. It's suppressing female empowerment also, frankly. It's just it's a guise. The whole, this is empowering these issues it's a guise. Every issue that we care about is made worse by it. And there's a major fucking backlash coming. Just like the backlash you saw in this election. There's a major left of center backlash coming. So do we want to win these elections in the future? Then the first thing that we need to do is call out the toxic political culture of the Democrats. Then we call out the lack of leadership that they have. Then we call out the toxic cultural reality that we have. And we call out the people that are creating the main cancer, the main toxin. It is coming from far left or further to the left that you go. That's where it's coming from. And it isn't coming from everyone who's over there. It's just coming from the people who are susceptible to this toxic worldview, which is you demonize anyone who sees it differently from you. You demonize anyone who wants to acknowledge core values of the center, which matter, in addition to caring about all of the other things. It doesn't matter. These people are demonizing anything that's not what they fucking think is this highly moralized viewpoint of how the world should be. And these people have a comeuppance. You can guarantee they're going to double down. That anyone that says, no, I want to care about both these central classic elements and what you're talking about. Well, I'm sure they have a whole bunch of different terms for people like that are derogatory. This is people. I have been seeing this for over 20 years. This isn't new. Do you not like these results? Then for most of you, I would say to you, because many of you aren't even hip to this shit. I would say seek it out with your own eyes and stop contributing to this shit. Stop contributing to the world where the status quo is completely demonized. We're caring about issues that are more center in the philosophical political reality, demonizing these concepts. Stop contributing to it, because my opinion is you're about to lose. You're about to lose, right? There is a waking tide on the left also, and it's not the waking tide of highly progressive democratic socialists. It's a waking tide that's more close to the middle. And when you wake up that giant, you're not going to fucking win. You're not going to win. And we are going to be the worst for it if people don't start waking up to this. We are going to be the worst for it. No one is saying don't care about progressive beliefs. No one's saying that. Just stop toxifying the situation with your fucking absolutism and your Jungian emasculation. That's what I'm saying. More to come.